Skip Schenker, my man. I got to tell you, we've known each other for quite some time, and I know you've always been relevant, or managed to keep yourself relevant in the renovation lending space, which has been pretty hard. It hasn't been easy over the last, I don't know, for me it's been 26, 27 years. It's got to be longer for you, right?
It is, yeah. I've got you by a few years. I did my first renovation loan in 1994, so that's 30 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll tell you what, I'll let you intro yourself, but you're one of the key guys in the renovation lending space. You've been keeping it relevant and looking for ways to innovate. And I got to tell you, I'm excited for today's show to really talk about where we're going, in terms of visualization and what you've built. So I won't steal your thunder. Tell everybody who you are.
Yeah, so thanks, Sean, and I'll tell you, I've looked up to you ever since that you splashed onto into the renovation space back in the early 2000s. You dominated the East Coast. I like to think I dominated the West Coast. We had the opportunity to go into a few of those presidents clubs together over the years, and
Yeah.
and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, renovation loans. I came from a background. My dad had a window screen shop as a teenager. I made thousands of window screens and I installed them. And then I ended up getting into the sales end. I went to work for a French door company. We sold French doors and windows, and I had literally thousands of face-to-face sitting at kitchen tables and making sales. And then they ended up going out of business, and then I landed in the mortgage industry, and then I got a call from an agent friend that I knew, and she said, "Hey, Skip, do you guys do 203K loans?" And I'm like, "Hold on a second." I put her on hold, and I asked my boss, "Hey, what's a 203K loan, and do we do them?" And he said, "Yeah, we do." And he said, "Yeah, they look complicated. Charge an extra point." And so anyway, so I did my first, and I struggled through it, and it took some time, and I learned what a HUD consultant was. And the fact that there was a construction or remodeling component to that, just it resonated with my background, my previous background in the remodeling industry. And so a few years later, I decided to go all in. I had a turning point in my life. I'll share with you, sitting in the doctor's office with the cancer radiologist who told me that the tumor in my brain had tripled in size in the last 3 months, and he asked me if I had my affairs in order, and we all know what that means. I think we all know what the outcome was. Fortunately, I'm still here,
Well,
but it
clearly.
really, yeah, but it really, when you're faced with that, and a lot of people have had experiences like that, near-death experiences, or survived cancer, which I'm so blessed and so fortunate for. I got, I had two goals really. At that time, I was like, my wife is pretty, she's got a good job, I've got life insurance, it'll pay off the mortgage, she'll be fine. I want to be the best father that I could be to my two kids. I had two young kids at the time. And then I wanted to make a difference. What can I do to make a difference before I leave this world? And looking back at my data points of my life's experiences, it's like, okay, I can really make a difference in housing, because I get the fact that a house that's clean, safe, functional, that's a reflection of who you are, allows individuals and families to thrive. And so I've been in homes, I've seen people, I've had friends whose houses were messed up, they were embarrassed, they didn't want us to come over, and that really plays an emotional, psychological, physical role on the environment of which you live. And so if we could make a difference, if I can make a difference in these people who are buying these older homes where they can create a space that they love, that they can thrive, I went all in. I decided this is my life's work. And it's brought me really to where we are today, and I'm grateful. I've learned so much from so many people, and I've got a great partner who's in real estate, and she's she's a millennial and she's tech savvy, and between the two of us, we've created this platform called Ready4Remodel, and I'm so happy to be here today and to talk to you and your guests about it. And so my experience over the years is there's three reasons why renovation loans really haven't caught on in a big way. And what I mean by that is 65% of all homes nationwide are 35 years old or older, and a 35-year-old home is going to need something. It's going to need a kitchen remodel, bathroom remodel. The materials that were used 35, 50, 75, 100 years ago, electrical, plumbing, roofing, all these materials have advanced dramatically. And so the opportunity to retrofit, to bring these products up to code, to make them modern, there's a great demand. And the impact of renovation loans, it's barely scratched the surface. I mean, we're talking 0.25% of the houses have been funded with renovation financing. So there's a huge opportunity of these homes and these buyers that are buying these older homes that could really use a renovation loan. And one of the things that I love to talk about is what happens. Most people move in and then the roof goes out, 15 grand on their credit card. They want to do flooring, another 15 grand, 10 or 15 grand for flooring. They want to do a kitchen or bathroom model, another 5 or 10. All of a sudden they got 50 grand on their credit cards. 50 grand, the minimum payment on a $50,000 credit card is $1,250. If they took that 50 grand, lumped it into their purchase price when they bought the house, not only can they benefit and enjoy life and thrive sooner, like within a couple of months of buying that house, getting all that work done, and they can really enjoy it, they've amortized that payment over 30 years, and the impact is only, it's like less than $600 a month. I think it's seven something for to add 50 grand to your loan. So there's like $800,000 a month in savings that we can help these entry-level buyers affect by doing a renovation loan up front. And so so the financial impact and the benefit for these buyers is huge. And people just, real estate agents, they're just not aware of it. We haven't done a good enough job educating the real estate community, and it's time. The time is now.
Well, and listen, let me say a couple things before I add to that. What a story, right? You're doing this that long and getting that diagnosis back at such an early age. I was just happy to make it through, my junior year in high school, right? So, and here you are, surviving cancer. So, kudos there, of course. But that's what we talk a lot about on the show is the benefit of renovation lending and how few people find what could be a monumental improvement in the way that they experience their lives, right? From an affordability standpoint and just from having those improvements, in your house, so on and so forth. So we've both believed in, for a long time, the create the vision process, right? And in my world, I sort of, built these sort of super open house flyer reports that we back our way into, homes being, on the market that are in less desirable condition and then showing agents, by way of that. And you just had this feeling that technology was going to get so good that it was going to get reinvented in one way or another, and I was just kind of waiting for that day to come around. And I saw you off in the distance kind of doing your thing with that. And that kind of brought us to where you and your partner, who you mentioned, Amy, have finally nailed it, right? And that's the part I can't wait to get to, is for us to introduce what you call Ready4Remodel, and that's your tool or environment or site, however you guys want to describe it, and I'm not going to steal your thunder. And what I really wanted to introduce on this show to everyone who watches it, just how cool and next level this create the vision process is, right? So I'm going to invite you to share your screen. I'm going to take a walk through the Ready4Remodel site. I might try and throw a little darts at you and try and, knock you off the path and see if everything works a little bit. I hope you don't mind, but
I don't mind.
You go ahead and take the control here,
okay,
right?
Hold on. Let me put my
and go ahead
glasses on
and
so
show
I
us
can
around.
see. Okay.
All right.
Okay, there it is. There's our homepage. And as I talk about this, I want to share a little bit how we got to this point. Um, Most real estate agents, when they show a buyer walks in a house, it smells funny, they walk into grandma's kitchen, they can't see themselves, they can't visualize themselves living there. So the first challenge we had to overcome was visualizing, the buyers able to visualize themselves being there. And so what we've done is we've got Find a Fixer, which is, these are properties that are already on our site that have been listed by real estate agents. We have Found a Fixer, like let's say you go out there, you find a property, but it's not actually on our site yet. You can actually click Found a Fixer and put the property address in, and our powerful data will recognize that property address, the bedrooms, bathroom count, square footage, and
So kind of like when you go on Zillow and you type in an address, and then it pulls up that house and all of the listing information. So long as it's on the MLS, it's going to find it. Your site does
Exactly.
the same thing. It's going to find any
Exactly.
house that you find, not just homes that are specifically geared to being in this site. Any
Yep.
house that you find that happens to be listed, you can pull into here.
We can pull it in, and if there's photos on the MLS, it'll download the photos as well, so you can play with the photos that we're going to show you in a second. And then we've got Stay and Upgrade, which is for someone who may have a 3% mortgage and they want to add on bedrooms and bathrooms. They can remodel their own home, so they can it recognizes the bedroom bathroom count of their address, and they can upload their own photos and play with those. So we're going to go to Find a Fixer, which is the current inventory that's on our site. And we'll just click this one right here, West Bloomfield Township in Michigan. And so you'll see on the left is a defaulted before and after of what the house could look like, and it gives the
Go
buyer.
back to that picture again. They look so darn good, man. That front picture looks so good. I mean, what is with that giant brick wall in the front? Who thought of that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing about AI is you never know. It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. So you can play with it. And so, yeah, so they put windows in there where there are no windows now. And if that makes sense, great. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. Yeah, it adds creativity to the whole process, and fun. So the agent can thumbtack a couple of pictures. And again, this is what the kitchen currently looks like, and this is what it could look like under what we call the French country motif. And so this design for the front of the house was a traditional motif. And so what is exciting is anybody, any user, whether you're a real estate agent, real estate professional, or an investor or a home buyer, can go to any one of these pictures, and let's go, to this, maybe a different view of this kitchen, and let AI know that it's an interior and it's a kitchen, and then they get to choose a style. So I'm going to ask you, Sean, pick a style. We got 75 to choose from.
I'm a contemporary fan.
You're a contemporary fan, so I think that was towards the top. Okay, so let's see what a contemporary. Now, do you have any certain prompts that you want? You like purple walls or travertine floors or anything, or you just want to let AI do its thing?
No, let it do its thing. But that's good to know that you could do that.
Okay, we can always go back and put in purple walls, pink walls, brick flooring. If we got, now that we took that brick wall out, we got this extra brick that we could reuse. We could use that for flooring possibly.
So what's really happening here is it's taking the listing pictures that the agent used to just describe the property on the listing. It's not like new pictures were uploaded. These pictures already existed, and you're pulling them in and then playing with them. Oh, there's my contemporary kitchen. There's the old one, and there's
Yep.
the contemporary. Wow, that's actually a
There's
pretty
the
good.
old one. Yep.
That's
And there's the
actually
new
a
one.
pretty good rendition. Great.
Yeah. So it's got wood flooring. So let's see what happens. Let's just say, okay, brick floors, just for the heck of it. Brick flooring.
Is that such a thing, brick flooring on the inside of the house?
I think, yeah. I mean, just veneers. They have veneer. Let's see. There it is.
All right. Nice. There we
Anyway,
go.
you, whatever you want, I think, within reason. Okay, so, all right, so that's the first step. The second reason why renovation loans really haven't caught on in a big way, I think there's just not enough lenders like you and I out there, Sean, that understand how to get them done quickly, and real estate agents lack confidence in their lender to get these renovation loans done efficiently. So this tool makes it so easy, and you'll see the next step, which is the estimating software that helps build the estimate that the buyer wants to do, and then create the mortgage with just a few clicks of a button. So the next step is, again, we use really powerful data. When we put the property address in, it recognizes the square footage, the bedroom, bathroom count of bedrooms and bathrooms. It knows whether it's a one-story house or a two-story house, which reflects how many squares the roof is. For a roofing estimate, it recognizes how many windows and doors it has, how many lineal feet of cabinets in the kitchens and bathrooms. And with a few clicks of a button, we can put in exterior paint, which for this house is going to be about $8,300. Replace the windows. And again, we have 3 different qualities: good, better, or best. So let's put in some better quality windows. Let's do a better quality kitchen. So windows here is $22,000. A kitchen remodel is $44,000. Let's just see for the heck of it. So a good kitchen is going to be $31,000, and the best kitchen is $63,000. So we've got a range of finished material costs built into the site for whatever that buyer wants and whatever their budget is. Exterior doors, exterior lighting. Let's say we want to put a new roof on, 13 grand. Interior paint. Say we want to put some new flooring in, 35 grand for flooring. Bathroom remodel. Let's say the electrical system needs to be updated, the outlets and the switches. Put a new water heater in and refresh the HVAC. Okay, so we're up to $220,000. And so now, hey, well, what's the payment going to be? What's my down payment going to be? We go to here, build a payment. The house is listed for $249,000. The remodeling budget is almost as much as the house is, Sean, and we're up to $469,000. What the system doesn't do, we don't want to over improve for the area. It doesn't tell you what the ARV, the after renovated value, is going to be. So you're going to have to work with your real estate professional and find out what the comps are for highly remodeled homes are. And depending on your down payment, you have a choice. The buyer has a choice of saying, okay, well, I've got $35,000 down. And so based on that works out to be almost a 7.5% down payment. And then it lets you know what your mortgage loan amount is. It defaults at an interest rate. We don't quote interest rates, so you're going to need to talk to a lending professional to run your credit, look at the LTV and the FICO score and all that to get an accurate. But they can play with these numbers and see, depending on different interest rates, how does that impact my payment over here on the right-hand side. So an 8 3/4 payment interest rate is going to be a total PITI of just over $4,000. And a 7% is going to be about $3,500. So you can see the impact the interest rate has on the payment as well.
So full stop.
Yep.
Right. I just really want to back up, and because you got the monthly payment with the taxes that's coming in from the big data that you're using, which is fantastic. This tool right here is incredible because it connects the dots between thinking about doing this and thinking about getting a mortgage, right? And how do I get it included, stretched out over my 30-year fixed? That has a bunch of advantages. But before we even get there, right, getting to the point where you have a reliable number for these improvements that within a small degree of tolerance, any contractor is going to go, I'll do it for that, right? That's the magic, right? Is you're not guessing at what this stuff is going to cost to renovate. You can actually put together your whole budget. You know, it's like you could design your Property Brothers episode right here, right? You start out with the house and you have to leave your couch, right? So that is
Yeah,
really,
and what's
really
cool,
cool.
yeah, what's cool is they could generate their report, they can share it with their friends and family or their, their partner, and then once they generate their report, they'll have it in their dashboard. Any user who goes to our site and creates a profile, they're going to have their own dashboard with every property that they visited, and they've created a report which saves the address, it saves the budget that they chose, it saves the photos, the before and after photos that they created, and their monthly payments as well, so they can go back and look at the different properties that they either
How
found themselves.
how absolutely cool is that, right? How
I'm going to
absolutely
stop
cool
sharing.
is
Is that
that?
cool?
No, that's great. That's great. Hey, look,
Wait,
I talk about this a lot, Skip, you know, and before I put you on the spot, you know, I really want to hit this point home with our listing agents, right? You know, and I'm going to use an illustration to do, so I'm going to share my screen, you know, and just walk through the advantage for all parties on teeing up these homes the right way with renovation, right? As opposed to, you know, selling houses, you know, that are not, they are in need of upgrade or maybe not in the best condition, you know, and just crossing your fingers and throwing caution to the wind that you're going to get a buyer, you know, and that buyer's left to their own devices. It says, here, I'm going to show you this, right? This house is in not probably a half a mile from where I'm sitting at the moment, right? You know, and they're asking 389. They could probably get 500 if it's completely renovated in good shape, right? And if you go inside this house, it's dated, really dated, but they could close on it the way it is, right? It's just dated. So option one, meaning for my listing agents out there watching, a listing outcome number one could be that you list for 389. That you don't say anything about renovation, you don't know anything about ready for remodel, right? And your buyer comes along and goes, well, look at all that work I have to do, I'll give you 350, right? And if the seller owes 290, they leave the table with a little over $32,000 after closing costs and realtor commission, and there's your commission at 5.5%. And the seller goes, you know what, I was hoping to get more for that, so maybe I'm going to let the listing expire, right? Or maybe I'm just going to get through this and I'll put it back on the market after we do a little work. Here's listing outcome number two. What if that seller has to sell that house, right? They're either moving to a different job or they're going somewhere else, and you list it for 389 and you use the dreaded cash only or investor only language in your listing, which a lot of agents do, right? You know that your traditional primary buyer is going to be turned off at the condition of the house, so you market it to investors, which is a little tiny audience, right? A little tiny audience. Whereas when you can sell any home in any condition practically to anyone, that's a very wide audience, right? You know, so in this case, you list it as cash only. An investor comes along, they pay you less than the 350, 342 because they're equity shoppers. Buyers, primary owner occupants, pay 22% more on average, by the way, than investors, right? So think about that, right? And they accept a cash offer on this, walk away with $25,000 begrudgingly, and you make less money, right? Let's look at what happens when we list this house on Ready for Remodel and the customer gets a real good feel for the renovation they can include in their 30-year fixed mortgage, right? We get outcome number three, which is the buyer goes, hey, I can get my 80 grand, you know, to buy this house and get the money to renovate it all in one mortgage. I'm cool with giving you your asking price. The seller makes out 36.8 more, and the buyer leaves the table with $31,000 in equity that they created by doing the reno, by doing it this way. You sold the house you actually made more money on the commission, by the way, as the agent. Everybody wins in this scenario, right? And this is the opportunity that your site brings, you know, to the user on their couch. They can create this with almost any home on the market. I really wanted to illustrate that, you know, before I'm going to put you to the task here and actually throw a property at you. I found one while you were talking, right? And I just went online and said, okay, I found this house. Now I want you to show me how easy it is for the agent or the user to get that house in your site so they can start playing with it. You ready?
I'm ready. Hold on.
You ready for an address?
Give me a second. I got to share again. All right,
Okay,
let me go back up. All right, so we're going to go found a fixer because you just found a fixer.
that's right. And you have
Actually,
no
actually,
idea what house this is, by the way.
actually, I'm going to go back. I'm going to actually do it as a real estate agent. I'm going to go to my dashboard as a listing agent, so we
Even
can
better.
just kind of demo the listing agent. So,
Perfect.
we'll just say I'm a listing agent, and I'm going to add this to our system. So I'm ready.
Perfect. So let's go to 36 Arden, Arden
Okay,
Street,
36 ARDEN.
Arden, in, there you go, Franklin Township or Somerset, New Jersey.
Somerset, New Jersey. Okay, there it is. So I'm going to say that I have consent to market this property.
That's a
I got
good, that's a
consent
good
for,
point. So we got to go to the agent for consent to market this property.
and that's a good point. So there's a lot of listing agents that all they want to do is represent the sellers. They may have buyer's agents on their team, or if you're a buyer's agent and you see that there's a distressed property that's been on the market for a while, you can go and ask permission to market that property on behalf of the listing agent. Once you have that, and we recommend getting that in writing, even an email or a text, that you have the okay from the actual listing agent to list that property, you can put it on that, and then you as the buyer's agent, whoever has this posted on our site, they're going to get all the buyer leads. And we don't charge any referral fees for buyer leads. Let me say that again. We don't charge any referral fees for buyer leads. So I just got off a conversation I had, and I thought that the most big companies that refer buyer leads to agents charge between 25 and 35% of referral fee. There's some now that are charging 40%. So we don't. We've committed, at least from now till the end of next year, not to charge any referral fees at all on buyer leads for real estate professionals that
awesome.
use our site. So,
That's
okay.
awesome.
So in the meantime, while I was talking, we downloaded all the data, and so the house.
All you did was put the property address in and download, and then hit download. It did that in what, 40 seconds or so while you were talking?
Less than 60 seconds, yeah. So we're going to say it's got one story. I didn't really see the picture. And also
It looks like a
garage.
ranch.
Ranch, okay. So if it's a 1 or 2 car garage, we like to know that because when we do the doors, when the estimate comes on the doors, and I didn't show you the detail, there's a little button that you can highlight that tells the description of the scope of work, and we'll look at that in a second. So I'm going to keep advancing through here as we load this property in. So it defaults, so that's what it looks like now, and that's what our system automatically created a visual of what the house could look like automatically. So now we're going to go live. Okay, so that's how long it took, Sean. And we're gonna view that listing. And there it is.
Wow.
So let's look at some of the pictures, see what it looks like. There's the floor plan.
Yeah, there's a funky like torn apart kitchen. That's a perfect example to use. See that?
Yeah, I see that. Okay, you want to do the kitchen? Let's do we haven't done a living room.
You choose. You choose, man.
All right, I want to see, there's so we choose a space. So here we're using AI. So again, our site uses powerful data and AI to help visualize. So you have to coach AI a little bit. So we're telling it it's an interior living room, and we're going to do my favorite, where is it? Steampunk. And you may ask, what the heck is steampunk?
Oh, I know the style. I kind of dig it myself.
And so for those of you who don't know what steampunk is, get ready. So that's what it looks like now, and that's what it looks like in the steampunk design.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
So
awesome.
again, we can do any number of photos. So let's do is this which kitchen? Is that a kitchen?
I think
Is that
so.
the?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
so. I
there's a
think it's
little
in the,
closer. Okay. So
yeah.
okay, so there's we're gonna tell it it's a kitchen. And what style do you want to pick for uh, for the kitchen?
Maybe Tuscany.
Where the heck is Tuscany? There, oh, there it is, Tuscan. There's 75 choices. I haven't even tried them all, so I haven't seen
And
this.
then you
So
can be
this,
specific. Like you can add like with gray floors or something like that, right?
yep, exactly. So there's what the kitchen looks like now. Oh, look at that. You've got some
That
good taste, Sean. You know how to live, man.
right. Kitchens that are built for cooking. That's my jam, man. Right.
I know
So
I love to cook too. Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
uh
that's pretty awesome. I mean, look, here's the point I'm trying to make. We don't have to stay in this forever because I know you got so many other things that I'll have you back on, and we'll sort of get deep in the weeds as this thing grows and you get usage on it. But what I really wanted to point out there in that exercise is how easy it was that you and I didn't pre-plan a house. I just found something for you right now just to show everyone how quick and easy it was to get it in the site and you playing with it. That means as you drive around and you search for a house and you find these fixer-uppers, you can throw them in this site. It doesn't cost you anything, and our agents, our listing agents, if you're listing homes that could use some disrepair, could use some repair, could use some upgrading, and you want customers to go in and play with it themselves, maybe you tee up a few kitchens on your own so it starts out that way, send a customer a report. There's just so many different angles to getting listing outcome number 3 by my example, which is the one where everybody wins, right? Primary owner occupants pay more, you make more, the seller makes more, right? That's the angle here, right? So I think this is fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah, and there's one other point that I want to make, Sean. Well, actually, 2 points, and there's a lot more. First of all, we didn't talk about what the cost is to the listing agent, and this is a valuable tool, and it's free, absolutely free to listing agents to use and to market these listings. What's also cool is the visualization photos that we create are downloadable. So you can download those and use those on your other marketing, whether it's on a marketing site, whether it's your social media, whether it's print, you can download those. So I know there's a lot of other companies that charge fees for that. It's free for us to use, for the agents to use. But I didn't wanted to mention the third reason why renovation loans haven't really gotten traction like they should is because they take too long. They take too long to darn long to close. It takes, the industry is probably 45 to 60 days to close a renovation loan. Well, our tools, this estimating tool, generates a bid based on what the buyer is qualified for. We get them pre-approved, and we can order the appraisal within a few days of the offer being accepted, which allows us to guarantee a closing in 30 days or less. And fortunately, partners like you, Sean, that have that understand this workflow, and will allow us to order the appraisal based on our bid that we create, and then all the buyer needs to do is hand a bid to a contractor and say, hey, can you do this work for this price? And I'm not sure how long it takes you to validate a contractor or how much time the buyer and with the help of the listing agent or the buyer's agent can find a contractor that'll agree to do this work at that price. If they get it in 2 weeks after it's accepted or 3 weeks, what's the time frame that someone can hand you a contractor validation form and validate the contractor and close the deal?
48 hours.
48 hours. So
48 hours to validate the contractor. Closing the deal is relatively quickly after I have a viable agreement between the customer and the contractor, right? And an appraisal back. So I think the point you're trying to make here is there's lots of those AI visualization tools popping up, but what's going to make this really different and cool, is, the ability to work with the lender, our group that can help you somewhat, and I'll let you talk about the guarantee, but somewhat have super confidence, that this thing's going to work. You have a consistent experience, and that's the part, that's the side of the fence that I'm really excited about partnering with you guys with. This doesn't mean a hill of beans if the customer doesn't have a good, safe renovation lending experience, that they can rely on, and then I'll let you talk about the guarantee to the realtor.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just was playing with this. A lot of buyers are FHA buyers. We have our FHA 203K. They can get in with 3.5% down. So here's a scenario where they did $66,000 worth of work, which includes $57,000 of hard costs, the soft costs of $8,600. 10% of this bid is
Yep.
allocated
Yep.
for surprises. We all know that there's going to be a surprise that pops up. We our loan builds in for those surprises that might come up, and there's an extra 10% in this case. $5,700 built into that loan for those surprises. So we have, based on our knowledge and experience of closing literally thousands of these in the last 30 years, we knew what it took to build this and make it so it's realistic, and it's and the agents can really bank on these numbers.
So for I think I don't want to bury the lead, but basically what you're saying is, what you do get is the ability to get the properties in the site as the agent, so that users can get around and play with it. But the real trick that differentiates us is what you're offering as a 30-day guarantee, on a closing time, which is only
Exactly.
possible with the two of us partnering together and making the back-end mortgage piece happen just as fast as this piece does, right?
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's going to be the tipping point. I think our industry, once they see how easy it is to build a loan, and they know that they've got a reliable source to close these loans in 30 days or less, the sellers don't have to wait 45 or 60 days. And there's pressure. We have an incredible affordability crisis going on right now, and we have a huge pent-up demand of entry-level buyers that are looking for opportunities. And a lot of these opportunities, look, if they want to buy a house that's move-in ready, they're going to be paying a premium for it. There's going to be multiple offers coming in, a house that's been totally remodeled and totally move-in ready. When you're buying a house that needs some work, there's less competition, and it's a greater opportunity to get a better price on these. There's not going to be as much competition, and so it's just super exciting to be here at this place at this time with these tools. Technology has brought us, given us this opportunity to be here now, and again,
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here with you, and I'm happy that you're our lender right now on this property.
Well,
This
thank you.
program.
And listen, man, I'll say this, folks. Amy, your partner, who's fantastic, by the way, and Skip here, you guys really knocked it out of the park with this one. Kudos to you guys, for really. And this wasn't like an overnight thing. It took a very long time to kind of get where you are. And I know that there's improvements to be made, but the site is launched. We're having a good time, both of us, going out and selling folks and getting them in it, right? And I'm excited about building a back-end process for you that's, as reliable as an Amazon experience is, right? And making it
Yep.
easy for customers to do this and bring this sort of concept to, off the HGTV screen, in the living rooms across America as our buyers tend to buy, particularly our first-time home buyers, right? So remember, mortgages featuring renovation financing, as I like to say, is the most affordable way to get out and buy and customize and get the home of your dreams with very little down. Payment stretched out over the 30-year fix makes it the most affordable way to do it. And now we just rolled with you. Ready4Remodel, which is going to be a really cool way for you to spot properties, play around with what it looks like, and have the confidence of what it's going to cost to renovate it. Skip Schenker, thanks for spending a little time with us on the Renovation Rundown. Incredible. Kudos to you, my man. Kudos to you.
Thank you, Sean. And whoever you are, whether you're a home buyer, an existing homeowner, if you know somebody who's thinking about buying, if you're a real estate agent, go and check us out, ready4remodel.com. It's ready, the number 4, remodel.com. And we look forward to helping you create a home that you love where your family can thrive.
Thanks, folks. Thanks for spending time with us. Renovation Rundown, Skip Schenker.